And welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Knowledge. If you're clicking on this video, you probably are asking yourself two questions. One, or maybe not two questions, you're just thinking two statements. Damn, PK is one handsome son of a gun. So for that first part, thank you. I appreciate that. And then the second part you're thinking is, that thumbnail must be clickbait, isn't it, PK? Well, it's not really clickbait per se. Maybe it's just couple years too old. Maybe it's from November 2020. Just a little thumbnail. We could just take some screenshots from. Those are not screenshots from deep into the internet archives. Those are just screenshots off my phone because at the time I knew it was pretty crazy, and I thought it would be something. Hey, this will be cool screenshots to have saved in my camera roll. So maybe I could use this for a thumbnail in a couple years from now. But no, come on. But listen. I think there are cracks starting to show in the armor. It's weird. I always look for kind of indicators of the market to see if there's, call it rough waters ahead or troubling times ahead. And I'll tell you right now, I keep hearing one common thing get brought up over and over and over again. And it's not just through this live. It's not just through other people's live. It's not through the Fanatics live. It's just the most common theme I've heard people ask is, what do I think about Pokemon Center ETBs? Do I think ETB promos are going to crash? Do I think Pokemon ETBs are going to crash? That is the number one most common question I get across like all Pokemon investing. It's probably the weirdest one for me. And it's the only one that every time I read the question, every time I hear the question, I kind of stop and I think, and I'm like, I don't care. And I always think of that. I'm like, I don't care. Why does anybody care? Why do people care so much about Pokemon Center ETBs? And why do people care so much about Pokemon Center ETB promos? And then I finally had my hallelujah moment, I think, today when I actually thought about it. And I'm like, you know what? Pokemon Center ETBs are probably one of the lowest barriers of entry for people who have re-entered the hobby. And do you know what? Pokemon Center ETBs and Pokemon ETB promos are probably people that are new to the hobby. It's probably their best performing sealed product investment. Because, sure, you can look at a lot of modern sealed and everything is way up, but you have to, get in at release, or you have to get in with pre-orders, or you have to have distribution. Perfect example being Prismatic ETBs. Prismatic ETBs are like 140 right now. At release, at pre-release, you could get them from certain websites, but not everyone knows every website. The only place that was like really a tried and true method of where you could have got Prismatic ETBs at MSRP was probably Pokemon Center. Now, they sold out instantly, but for the initial runs, you could pre-order up to 4 until Pokemon changed the pre-order limit. That's why we're seeing the sealed cases go for such a premium. And then the same thing with Surgeon Sparks. Like, Surgeon Sparks was cheap at the beginning. Shout out to Hills Wholesale Game, and you could have picked it up at Hills Wholesale Game and for $105 per booster box for Surgeon Sparks for pre-order. And then, prices right at release were like $140, $130, and then they started creeping up, and they kept creeping up to $230. So if you didn't have like very low entry points, but still barriers of entry for a lot of people, the one product that most people have that they're probably the highest percentage on is Pokemon Center ETBs. And it took me a while to like actually have that make sense in my head, where I'm like, why does people care? Because I always think like, if people are going to have the one question, it's like, oh, if the market's going to crash, you would normally ask like, hey, my biggest position, that is the thing I'm most worried about. And I was thinking like, most people's smallest positions are probably Pokemon Center ETBs, because there's a big barrier of entry to get multiple of them. Now, it's not a barrier of entry to get one or two, but in order to get a ton of them, you have to have multiple addresses, you have to have multiple credit cards, you have to have, bots that could eat around the Pokemon Center, you have to deal with the crash, or the site crash, and then there's a lot of variables that you then have to compound from going from getting your pre-order limit of 4 right at release to when they change the pre-order limit of 2, and then to end up where you have a big position. And for me, big position might as well be like 100 plus ETBs. 100 plus ETBs for regular ETBs, obviously Pokemon Center is just like 10 regular cases, but for Pokemon Center it's obviously that more. Like 100 ETBs for me is like, okay, That's a lot. That's like a position of ETBs. That's 10 cases normally, minus Pokemon Center. But then I'm like, most people don't have 100 Pokemon Center ETBs. Why do so many people ask this question? Why are so many people fascinated in it? And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, it's the smaller collectors. And if the smaller collectors are looking at their entire collection and they're looking across the board and they're looking at every booster box they own, sleeve, blister, build and battle box, whatever, built booster bundles, they're looking across the line, and the thing that is probably doing the best for them is these Pokemon Center ETBs, and that is probably the thing that they're considering selling the most. And I'm like, oh, okay. So all things in the hobby, eventually, once people start to get nervous, they start to look, and people start to want to sell the things that are probably going to perform the best for them. I just found that a little fascinating. I think that is a good indicator for the market of like why people are so interested. And if you tuned into my last Thursday's live, all I did on that live was talk about, you don't affect the price of the market. I don't affect the price of the market. The people that affect the price of the market are the really big guys, the P Football Pete's. That was what last week's live was really about when it comes to the grand scheme of Pokemon. But then when I started to think about it, I was like, let me pull myself back a little bit from last week's live, because last week's live only matters for a product that is readily available. P Football Pete, when I talked about him last week, while everything I said, I still believe that he is the one, and people like him are the ones that truly dictate the price of product. And if we're going to see market downturns, it's dictated by those guys. But that is only for the stuff that is readily available, meaning stuff from distribution, stuff that gets reprinted, the stuff that's actually going to cause prices to go down. Now, as for the product that is not readily available at distribution, the stuff that is not actively being pushed onto the market from, these big guys, well, they don't affect the price of that. And then it made me think, I'm like, well, who does affect the price of that? Well, it's the small-time collector. So, you know what? The small-time collector does affect the market in a pretty big way. And not only do they affect the market in a pretty big way, they have probably, maybe not as quite equal of an impact, but they have a pretty good impact on price downturns in the market. And you know why? Because while P Football Pete's and these big guys are dealing with the stuff that is most readily available and has the largest supply, the people who start to panic sell, they now start to deal with the product that does not have large supply and does not, people do not have huge dumps of this stuff. So then, it only takes a way fewer products to sell for less to really start to see that trickle into the market, where it takes a lot of booster boxes to start affecting the modern market. Now, stuff that's just not available, it only takes 10 sales to start creating new prices. Look at TCG Player. TCG Player, when you start to look at sell-through rates, when you only have certain products that only have 5 sold a day, 10 sold a day, 15 sold a day, well, if you got only 15 sold a day and now you have 20 people selling that, 20 people in the grand scheme of this hobby is a nothingness. 20 people is, if you had everybody in this hobby and you could somehow put them all in the same room and you took out 20 people, no one would even notice they were missing. It would be so meaningless when you talk about 20 people in the grand scheme of this hobby. If they're all in a room and you just instantly snapped your finger and 20 people disappeared, everybody would look around and go, did anything happen? And everyone would say, I don't think anybody left. This room is exactly the same. It's the same amount of people. It would be nothing. But when it comes to super scarce product, when you have 20 people selling a product that only has, 5, 10, 15 sales a day, you start to see ripple effects. And then people will start to look at what they have. And if it's their product that they're holding, the ones that had been going up, people start to panic sell. That is a real thing in this market. So maybe it has a little bit more of an impact than I originally thought. Shout out to Saul. Saul gifting the 10 PK membership. Saul, I do appreciate you. Happy Thursday night to you, buddy. But that is that's just kind of my thought for today. Is that, I was trying to think of why do people care so much about Pokemon Center ETBs? And I think that just runs down to it is like that's people's best performance investment. And then people are literally looking at their best performing investment of their entire collection, and maybe they're starting to get worried about the market. This is still the strongest market we've ever been in. The amount of people that are starting to make the correlation. Shout out to Dan Catchmall Collectibles. Love Dan. Shout out to Dan. Dan will be here, right here in the grandma's basement. Dan will be sitting right here, right next to me. If you guys watched in January, we did a base set booster box break, and Dan was here. We went live on my channel right before the box break, March 22nd, which is Saturday. So it's like, whatever, a weekend, 9 days away or something like that. I'm bad with math. 9 days away, something like that. Dan will be here March 22nd. We will be live on my YouTube channel again before, and they'll be doing a Fossil First Edition box break, bunch of high-end slabs on Fanatics. But enough. I know. Gosh. They got the one guy in my comment section gonna be like, you know what, PK, I used to really like this channel, but you know, literally the thing you quit your job to do full time, you talk about it too much. Please don't ever mention Fanatics on this channel ever again, PK. I don't care that you quit your job. I don't care that is how you make money in Pokemon anymore. I just think you really should stop shilling it. I really liked your channel a lot better. So anyways, Dan will be right here. I'll pretend like I didn't say the word Fanatics, and it will trigger some people. But Dan will be here. But anyways, going back to Dan, he made a video, and you know, he talked about like the stock market crash and the crypto crash, and does it affect Pokemon? And Dan's, I wish I could say like Dan's video is a one-off, but it's like, no, Dan's video is not a one-off. That is just the new topic that everybody's having. Like, people are just watching the downturn of everything, and they're like, is Pokemon next? Is Pokemon next? Is Pokemon next? I can't bring anything new to this conversation. I'm gonna tell you, like, Pokemon will only be next when the printers catch up, and I don't know when that's gonna be. Everybody's kind of waiting. I mean, people are grasping on anything. Man, the Pokemon vending machines. Shout out to Rattle. I don't have Pokemon vending machines where I am, but that's been a great little Days of Our Lives soap opera to watch. The vending machine. See, like, is there any Pokemon vending machines on the entire East Coast of the United States? I want to say the answer is no, but that's been a great soap opera right there. Watching all the people going crazy about the, like, Pokemon Center machines, and now I'm listening to everybody talk about, and they're like, they're finally putting limits on these machines, and they got big signs on it says do not loiter, and now the machines are like releasing product like on a timeline thing. So when they restock the machine, everything doesn't instantly just become available. Things start getting trickled out, and people could add them to the cart like throughout the day. And like looking at some of the people online just talking about this as this is like the saving grace of the hobby, and all I can think of in my head is like, we are booming. We are so booming that is a need. That, like, think about that. That is a need that we have in the hobby, where the machines have to be reprogrammed to only drop product like every once in a while. Oh my god, we are booming. And then, yeah, but like, you know, Dan's video, but Dan didn't make that video because he wanted to. Dan just made that video because that's just the common theme right now. People are going to talk about that. People will look for anything, any correlation. I got nothing to add to it. I'm just going to tell you, things will get better. It's just going to take time. Unfortunately, we got good sets come. Well, I use on the word unfortunately. That's a super. All right, unfortunately is a subjective term, but listen, Journey Together is coming out. Destined Rivals is coming out. 30th anniversary is coming out. Like, it's gonna be rough waters ahead for a little while, even with all the printing and everything. Shout out to Peak That Chew. Peak had Leonhardt on his channel. Leonhardt has a direct line right to Pokemon. You know, you want it out. Everybody's like, what does Pokemon think about this? And people want the one little they want to grasp to anything, and it's the same press release Pokemon has put out, whether it was Champion's Path or whether it was Celebrations. I'm pretty sure Pokemon just removed the word, sorry, Celebrations is unavailable. We're gonna we're gonna control, or F5, we're going to find the word Celebrations. We're going to remove the word Celebration. We're just going to put Prismatic Evolutions into it. Sorry that we are aware that Prismatic Evolutions is hard to find right now. We are printing to max capabilities. They just F5 found the word Celebrations and replaced it. with the word Prismatic Evolution. It's the exact same press release. Like, there's almost no change to it. So this is not something new for us, but everybody looks for that. But shout out to Leonhardt. Leonhardt has a direct line to Pokemon, and Leonhardt talked to his representatives that work with Pokemon. Now, Leonhardt is a, not a paid sponsor. I guess he's a paid sponsor, but whatever. He gets like product from Pokemon for new releases. Him, like Big Break and Nate, there's like a couple social media influencers get these boxes from Pokemon. Now, a lot of people don't know the backstory, the lore to that. So Leonhardt was the first ever person that had that. And that was just him reaching out to Pokemon and saying, hey, I do like pack openings on YouTube. If you would ever be interested in like having Pokemon content creators that you would like to sponsor and send them product, I'd be willing to do it. He was the very first one. So he has some sort of contact at Pokemon. Like, I don't know where down the line or what their title is, but he mentioned it to him, and pretty much they said was, yeah, he didn't have the reason why they printed so little, but it seems like they just know, they are very consciously aware that they just didn't print enough and they should have printed more. That's it. Like, everybody wants this big conspiracy theory, like, I think Pokemon is purposely manipulating the market. They know if this is an evolution set and that this will do really well, and if they purposely underprint it, everybody will go crazy, and the scalpers, and there'll be people fighting, be people getting elbowed in Costco, and this big, huge conspiracy theory of Pokemon, and that's why they did it. And I don't think it's like that. I just think it's Pokemon kind of, maybe they don't have their finger as close to the pulse of this hobby as we think. Maybe it just comes down to, like, what's that, what is it? Occam's razor? The simplest answer is probably the correct one. Is that it? Oh, God. I think it's Occam's razor. Occam's razor knows the principle. Yeah, so suggests that when faced with multiple explanations of a phenomena, the simplest explanation is usually... See, I did get it right. I don't even know why I had to double check myself. Occam's razor. It's probably just comes down to Pokemon was they released Scarlet and Violet, and Scarlet and Violet just didn't perform that great. They released Scarlet and Violet base. Meh. Wasn't well received. Obsidian Flames. Paldea Evolved. Wasn't well received. These are, SV base supposed to MSRP for 163. Paldea Evolved supposed to MSRP for 163. Obsidian Flames supposed to MSRP. Paradox Rift, Temple Forces. You see where we're going with this? Kind of all. Shout out to Tap. Appreciate you, Tap. Tap, I still got to reach out to you about coming on the channel. Name comes up very often. But, like, think about that. All those sets supposed to MSRP at 163 with the new price point, and they were all like $90 a booster box. A lot of people were losing money at distribution. Then 151 did come out, and 151 was a banger set. And then Pokemon said, well, 151's a really banger set. A lot of people like it. Even at 151 UPCs at release, you could still get them at Pokemon Center. And then there was cheaper ways to get 151 UPCs. That's why the Squirtle stamp promo from Pokemon Center was so sought after, because even though you could buy it at MSRP from Pokemon Center, why would you want to do that when you could pick up 151 UPCs on other platforms cheaper? That doesn't make sense. Well, and then what happened? 151 got printed so much till eventually UPCs were $80 on Costco.com, and they weren't $80 on Costco.com, and they just got instantly bought it up, and everybody was fighting over them, and once again, everybody was just throwing the elbows out and hitting old people in the face with elbows. No, they just sat there. So maybe the Occam's razor is just Pokemon saw what was happening for the last 6 sets and said, maybe we shouldn't print so much of this stuff. Let's have the market come back, and then something magical happened. I can't put my exact finger on it. I don't know. Something happened, and then everybody just piled right back in and started with Twilight Masquerade. Shout out to the heat checks of Twilight Masquerade. Everyone says nobody believed in Twilight Masquerade. No. No. I did believe in Twilight, but it doesn't matter. Like, maybe that's it. Maybe Pokemon just looked at the last couple sets and they said, none of this shit's selling. Maybe we shouldn't print a lot of the next set. And then it just was terrible timing on their behalf, because then people started getting bowed in the face and everything. And a lot of people look at, well, Pokemon did buy the printers. Did you forget that, PK? They bought the printers, so now they can just print as much as they want. Well, did they really buy the printers per se? Yes, they bought Millennium Print Group, but let's have a realistic conversation. What does that really mean? They bought Millennium Print Group, but don't sit there and think that Millennium Print Group only prints Pokemon, whether they own it or not. I mean, shout out to MetaZoo. The new Meta 2, Meta 3, Meta 4, Meta 2 you do, whatever. The new MetaZoo's coming out. You know who prints the new MetaZoo? Who is it? Anybody? Basic Trainer, where are you? Is Basic Trainer in the chat? Basic Trainer knows. It's Millennium Print Group. So, obviously, Millennium Print Group could find the printer space to print MetaZoo. And while I'm sure those printers could have at the same time been printing Pokemon, it didn't. It was printing MetaZoo because they have, it is, while they own Millennium Print Group, they're still contractually obligated to print these other TCGs, which reserve this printer space, I'm sure, months and potentially years ahead of time. Like, I know for MetaZoo, they must have acquired that, print time months ago, packing and all the things that go into the new MetaZoo game, which is going to be released in March and stuff. So it's not like, well, yes, they own the printers, but they can't just ignore all this other contracted obligations they have. So it's not a 100% Millennium only prints Pokemon and nothing else. It's not that. They print a lot of stuff. So the question is, like, how long does it take to even be able to get all the printer capabilities back and still be dealing with all this other, contractual obligations that they have? There's a lot. So it's not an instant fix. Now, with all that said, it will come. It will come, but it's going to be a while. And what is a while? Hell if I know. Everybody kept saying, like, for Prismatic, it's like, just wait for the next product, because Prismatic did have a weird, call it a staggered release of products. So right at release, we saw, the Prismatic binder collections, the 3-packs, what were they, the poster, sticker, oh god, I don't even remember, I got a box over there, the poster collection, sticker collection, whatever it was, and then there was a binder, Prismatic binder collection that came with the 5-packs, and then the ETBs, that was like the real early ones that came out. And now, like right now, at the time of recording this video, we're seeing the Prismatic booster bundles come out. We're seeing the Prismatic 2-pack blisters that have the 2025 Pikachu stamped reverse hollow, cool looking, this thing, whatever this is. Is there even a name for it? Just the Pikachu thing? What is it? Does it have a name? The Prismatic 2-pack? This thing. That thing is being released right now in the booster bundles, and it's like, that's not really making an effect on the market. In fact, shit's still going up. Pokemon just keeps going up, right? So, like, that's the problem we're running into, too, is we're getting these weird staggered releases. So, alright, you got the booster bundles right now. You got these weird 2-pack blisters, and then we're going to have the super premium collection coming out, which is, unfortunately, going to be like Charizard UPC right at release again. Remember Charizard UPCs? Anybody getting a little bit of, you ever seen that meme with the little cat? And it's got like Vietnam in the background and the cat's all scared. It's kind of like that, a little PTSD, a little post-traumatic stress disorder for some people. Thinking about those Charizard UPCs right at release. And shoot, Celebrations ETBs? Fuck you, Celebrations ETBs. That's all I gotta say, the Celebrations ETBs. Celebrations ETBs, that shit was never easy to get. You guys think there was products that were easy to get and that all things sat. Celebrations ETBs were never, you never use the N-word. They were never readily available. Celebrations UPCs suck to get. Talk about the original introduction of bots into Pokemon. Celebrations UPCs sucked a fat one trying to get those. You think these S or super premium collections from Prismatic are going to be any easier? You are sadly mistaken. You know why? Because they got that stupid EV promo sitting on the food, and I use that word stupid as in everybody's going to want it. Everybody's going to want to grade it. That promo is going to have a ton of value. The packs inside are going to have a ton of value. And then you know what? It's going to take more reprints, and then eventually we're going to have to get ETBs again. And this shit's going to take a while. Now, forever's a long time. Journey together. Destined rivals. 30th anniversary. Oh boy. Oh, gee golly, gee whiz there, Batman. Let's go fight some crime. Holy crispy cereal, Batman. We are in for it. That's my best Robin. That's 1966 Robin. Shout out to old Adam West. Gee whiz, gee golly. Holy crispy cereal there, Batman. We are in for it. Not getting better, but bright side. Let's look at the bright side. Mr. Brightside. Calling a cab. She's having a smoke. She's taking a drag. My stomach is sick, but it's all in my head. She's touching his chest now. Okay, Mr. Brightside. What's the Mr. Brightside of this all? The Mr. Brightside is... What's the bright side? The bright side is we got reprints, I guess, coming that are supposed to be really small. So that's Mr. Brightside. More people enter. I found the Mr. Listen, more people enter in the hobby, and that's great. That's it. That's fun. What else is there good going on? The content's been great. I mean, shout out to Rattle. Rattle always gives me a good, entertaining video. That's must-watch YouTube for me. I don't get to watch every single YouTube video anymore. I've been pretty busy, but at least Rattle's given us a ton of content out of all this. This has got to be the easiest time for Rattle to make content in the history of the hobby. All these new whatnot scammers hopping on all this vending machine. There's just a lot going on right now. What else? What else we got looking forward to? Listen, I put my thumbnail up. The thumbnail that's a crash of Pokemon. Just a couple old screenshots from November 2021. No big deal. I was a year into me started my channel. So I started this YouTube channel in November 2020. And those screenshots were exactly a year later. As I walked through the valley of the $79.95 booster box. So, yeah, I don't know. Ranty, ravey. You know what? I love you guys, though. All right. That is my normal PK rant at the beginning. Now, hey, this is the point where I get into the chat. If you guys do have any questions, any comments, let me know. We got Thrift Hardy, #1 mod in the game, Drew. Good to see you, big dog. Thrift Hardy said, never forget, Rattle ripped $2 million worth of Evolving Skies to pull the Moonbreon. That is true. That is true, Thrift Hardy. What was it? Oh, I forget the final number. It was a lot. 5,700 times. What is Evolving Skies pack right now? 25? Maybe not 2 million, but a lot of money. Where's old Rattle? I miss Rattle. Need to get Rattle on the channel ASAP. I mean, Rattle got a lot to catch up on. Pokemon Dentist says, can't wait for the crash. It will be glorious. Troy says, PK, tell us what life's been like with the new job. Is it as great as I imagine? 10 out of 10. So, Troy, I'm not really... A lot of people don't want me to talk about Pokemon. What do I do in Pokemon? I'm not allowed to talk about it. They don't want to hear me every time I talk about Fanatics Live. I'm shilling it. But... the job that thank you for asking, Troy. The job that I'm doing is the best thing I've ever done. Best decision I've ever made. And it is freaking wild. I don't know how long it could last for. I hope forever's a long time. God, I hope forever. I got no plans to slow down. I can't speak for Dan. But seeing how, I think Dan is invested. I'm looking at how much product I got. I think Dan is with me. I think me and Dan are on the same wavelength. Me and Dan, it's been an awesome ride. It's only been a couple months so far, but easily, best decision I have ever made in my professional life is to quit my full-time job to do Pokemon full-time, and the benefits have been there. The rewards have been there. When I quit my job, everything is exponentially already better in that time. And I was quitting with a lot of uncertainties, a lot of things that we still had to, unproven. But, people always say that thing. It's like a lot of people talk Pokemon, but they're not walking Pokemon. It's like, are you going to talk the talk or are you going to walk the walk? And it's like, I don't know how else I could walk the walk. Like, people want me to walk the walk. They're like, PK, prove it. It's like, I cannot prove it anymore to you. take the biggest leap of faith, and that's what I did. I took the leap of faith in Pokemon, and people will be, that's a problem too. People will look and they'll be like, people will say I'm the biggest bear of Pokemon. Oh, PK doesn't think things are doing good, and people will look at Dan, my partner, in this and say, oh, he's a bear. He doesn't believe in Pokemon. And it's like, listen, Linda. Listen, Linda. That's not it. But it's just always going to be, you're going to preach caution too, though. It's going to be like, hey, be careful. This might not go on forever, but this shit could, I want to say it could half, but it could go like 3/4 cut and we still booming, Like, that's the thing. It's, if today, at the time recording this video, is if this is the top and we never reach this top again, we could cut in half 50%. Things are still okay. And it's like, you could probably cut in half 50% from today and things are still okay. And then you could probably cut in half another 50% from there. So you cut in half 50% and then you cut in another 50% in half, and things are probably still good, depending on the business that you are building, or depending on your relationships in Pokemon, or depending on what you're doing in Pokemon. Like, Pokemon has a great, growth, great future. And I'm very excited. I got to open a base set box last month. I'm going to open up a Fossil First Edition booster box this month. Get to sell awesome cards. What is my day? Let's see, what is my day? I wake up, bring the kids to daycare. I pack orders from the previous day. I turn on my camera. I do exactly what I've been doing for fucking half a decade at this point on YouTube for nothing. Just talk Pokemon. I go in and I get to open packs. I get to put up cool singles. I get to put up cool slabs, and I literally get to talk Pokemon from the second I turn my camera on till the second I turn my camera off. What do I do for work? It's like, I go and I just do the thing that I did for free forever. I got the best job in the world. How can you beat that? And then as soon as that's done, I stream twice a day. I start at 11 a.m. until like 1:32. So a couple hours in the morning, and then I stream at 8:30 at night till I'm ready to go to bed. And there's nobody to tell me when I have to stream till. I want to turn the camera off at 12. 4 hours. If I want to turn it off at 1, I turn it off at 1. If I want to turn it off at 3 a.m., I turn it off at 3 a.m. If I want to go do a 24-hour basic trainer live stream, I could shut it off 24 hours. I could just make my own time. I make my own schedule. It's freaking awesome. Does this last forever? Again, forever is a long time, but I don't see it slowing down. I'm already thinking about ways I can maximize it. I'm a big believer in figuring out the best way to do something, And I think it will even get better too. It's like growth, like anything, is important too. You want to keep growing. You want to keep growing the subscriber count, which is cool on Fanatics, but I don't care so much about the subscriber count as I want to grow the viewer base. I want to grow the people that tune in every single day, the people that, just same thing with YouTube. That's it. It's just slow, methodical growth, and Rome wasn't built in a day, and this sure as hell ain't going to be built in a day. But it's just going to be consistency, day after day after day. And just like this. This is what this is. Just like, there's two things that are similar. There's one thing. This YouTube channel grows on you, and there's another thing that grows on you, and that's cancer. And that's the one thing this YouTube channel and me and cancer, we all have in common. We're just going to grow on you. Now, you might not want it to grow on you, and it might be a pretty disgusting growth, and you might have to have it surgically removed, but it's not going to be easy to get rid of. And that's going to be the common factor between this, me, and cancer, unfortunately. We're just going to grow on you. Slow, methodically, over not days or months, but it's going to take time. It's going to be years. Katie said, PK. First, Elite 4 Max says, I would never sell my Pokemon Center ETBs. Katie said, PK, would you ever do an interview with P Football Feet? Would love to. Listen, I am trying. Scott, I've emailed Scott. I'll email him again. I've met him in person. I've tried. Saul, getting to a point where Saul gifted the 10 PK membership. Saul, I appreciate you, buddy. T. Shav says, PK. Pew, 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 pew. Alright, T-Shabby wanted some PK pews, a little laser actions. Hopefully that didn't blow out everybody's earphones, and if it did, so be it. So Tendo says, I got hits on the machine today. It's not a great fix, but it's a step in the right direction. Hey, I'm glad that people are getting it. T-Shav says the East Coast does have vending machine. He says Philly has a vending machine. See? Learn something new every day. So very cool. Tap says, my man is live. People are now saying they're an hour and a half away from Philly. If you are an hour and a half away from Philly and you're worried about vending machines, that's a lot of your time. That's another thing too, I think people don't talk about enough, is what is your time worth? You know, especially some of this product. You know, people ask, it's like, why would people pay over MSRP? It's like, well, what is your time worth? So like Rocket, Philly is a half an hour from, or he's about a half hour from Philly, so that's an hour round trip. Some people are an hour away, some people are an hour and a half, and it's just a matter of like hour there, hour back. What's your time worth? And if you're going to go there and there's not product, so that's just the tricky part we're at right now. Eventually we'll get better. Forever's a long time, but it's just going to take time. Elite 4 Max says, I think Pokemon loves ripping shippers because of attendees. Maybe, but I mean, Pokemon's not in the business of selling for secondary market prices. Pokemon is in the business of selling, you know, just at MSRP. Now, would be interesting. I mean, maybe this would be the death of Pokemon, but if it's ever, you know, like a more direct to consumer model, so like 100% of all product goes through Pokemon Center instead of 100. Like, I don't even know what the percentage of product that goes through Pokemon Center versus the percent of product that goes through distribution. So like a direct-to-consumer business. From a logistical standpoint, I mean, I don't even know. I'm not one to talk, but I can only imagine the logistical nightmare that would involve for Pokemon to be direct consumer, like in 100% of their business, because the amount of product that is getting moved through distribution, whether it's your big distributions or, you know, your MJ Holdings or Alliance or not Mad who stocks Target, whatever, like the amount of product going through them, like the workforce that Pokemon would have to hire in order to move with that volume would just not be possible. So I don't ever think that could be a possibility. Now, could Pokemon move to a point where there is more direct to consumer? I can see that. I can see where they start to take a little bit of the amount of product that they're giving out to these big distributors and start to hold back more of that product and start to sell on Pokemon Center. I've already heard things about where Pokemon Center, when they can't move stuff on Pokemon Center, like certain booster boxes, they'll move it through distribution and they'll just try to get it off their books and stuff. That is going really, like, hypothetical, a lot of speculation there. I don't think anybody has any true concrete answers, but have heard that conversation taking place. But you'll never have a direct, you know, Pokemon to consumer. But I can see where PokemonCenter.com just starts to have larger supply. Like, that already makes sense, because if you bought anything on PokemonCenter.com, the turnaround time on product is super fast. Even for, like, pretty popular releases, like especially new releases, Prismatic Evolutions, I mean, the amount of packages that must have went out the door the first day, it's got to be a preposterous amount of packages. But usually Pokemon Center is like same day to next day shipping time. So that means at least the volume that they have, they're able to keep up with it. Now, I'm sure, what's the difference between going from same day, you know, your package ships, next day your package ships, to like in a week from now your package ships? Could they do that? I don't know. Getting in the tricky territory. Maybe I'm just ranting now, but whatever. That's what I like to do. Thrifty says, I know this hobby is booming when I see people excited to find Rebel Clash at Dollar General with 100+ likes on their Facebook post. Oh my goodness. Is that a top signal? Got to the point where Tap gifted the 5 PK memberships. Appreciate you, Tap. So, Rocket Power said, PK, whatever happened to that Pokemon card that they gave out at the basketball game? Where is it? Do I have one? I have one somewhere. I don't know where it is. Do I have one? I got one. Still got a couple things left in. So this one. I'm talking about this promo. The old Rain City Pikachu. I don't know. I haven't really paid attention to it. You would probably know better than me, to be honest with you. I don't think it was hyped enough. You know, people don't really want stuff that is rare or scarce to be in the hobby. And I mean, I don't mean this in like a negative way, but people want the moderner the better. They want the whatever is the most mass-produced stuff. Like, that's what people want. People want, okay, what's the newest set? Prismatic Evolutions. Okay, what's the big chase in it? Umbreon. Okay, done. What do you want? I want the Umbreon. Well, what about this other promo that was super hard? I don't... No, that's not the newest. That's not the most printed thing. There's way more Umbreons that will ever exist than that. Like, and I mean this. Like, that's the hobby. They want whatever the biggest, flashiest card of a new set is. They don't really want that super rare, super niche, super hard to source, super hard to grade, super hard. They don't... No. That's just not what people want. So, I don't know how that card is doing. And that's why when people always ask, they're like, well, where are you segueing your business to? And it's like, I'm just segueing my business to the shit that's the most liquid. And stuff like that, you know, scarce promos that already take a barrier of entry. Like, how many people are going to look at that promo and go, I don't know what the fuck a Rain City Pikachu promo is. What did PK just put on the screen? A basketball game, a promo handed out at an NBA. I said NBA. They just heard basketball first. And at an NBA game, that doesn't make any sense. Like, they don't want that. And like, that's not the you want. And right now in today's market, you just want whatever the most modern, most liquid, most popular, most in demand thing. Like, just look, just go, what do you want to invest in? It's like, just go on Pokemon TCG, Pokemon, invest in Reddit, or just whatever, like, the most surface level shit you can do is, and just see, like, what are people talking about today? And it's like, here's a marker, here's a pen and paper, and go, evolutions, Pokemon Center ETBs, booster bundles, promos, done, money, make money, you know, big circles. And then it's like, well, what do people want? Oh, people want, what are they talking about? GameStop grading Pokemon card. What? Okay, so people want PSA cards. Check. So I guess I'll just send my own cards to PSA instead of having some minimum wage employee at GameStop stealing my cards. Okay, so I will get people PSA. What do they want for PSA? Oh, okay, they want cards between $150 to $450. Okay, that eliminates a bunch of cards. I'm going to do that. What else are people talking about? Tag grading. Okay, why are people talking about tag? Let me do a little research into that. Oh my god. People are saying, I love tag grade, and it's like, do you own a tag slab? No. Okay. Have you ever held a tag slab in your hand? No. Why don't you like PSA? Because the turnaround times are too high. Have you ever submitted a card to PSA? Well, no. No. Tag. You don't own a tag slab? No. You've never sent a card away to grading to tag? No. But I'm thinking about it, PK. But you never have? No. You don't want PSA because the turnaround time is too high? Correct. But you've never sent a card to PSA? Also correct, PK. Oh. Okay. You got it. Why do you like tag? Because you are a Timmy shill and you believe all the social media paid for hype, in my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinion. That is all just inorganic BS. Once again, big shout out to Rattle Pokemon for making videos showing that a lot of these people that are promoting tag all have vested interest, or at least most of them do, or have some kind of financial incentive, or they're getting cards graded for free, or a bunch of stuff that you really have to, I think Rattle showed it with Mystic. He had to go through like 3 different Instagram accounts to figure out that And maybe he's got a little partnership going with Tag, and it's like you don't see it on his main account, you don't see it on his secondary account, and you got to go to like this small third account. It's like his main account had like 100,000 followers, the second one had 60,000. You have to go to like the 1,000 follower subscriber to figure out. And then it's like, just listen to people talk about Tag, and it's like, if you've never graded with Tag, if you've never held a Tag slab, stop telling me how great their slabs are. I'm sorry, I have a question for you. Can you put the card in your hand and can you squeeze it and does it pop open? Can you do this? You squeeze it and it pops right open? If the answer is yes to that, I would probably say maybe you shouldn't grade with this shitty ass company that just came out of a fucking grandma's basement the other day and then had this crazy social media push. Like, stop. Like, come on. Come on. Listen, it's just, come on. Like, really? The amount of Tag questions I get, I always think they're like almost paid people hopping in, just sucking off Tag. It's like, you ever seen every single Gloom photo that ever exists? Like every, I don't have a Gloom. God damn it, I don't have a Gloom in front of me. That one Pokemon that I don't have. Have you ever seen every Gloom photo that ever exists? Just all this white running down Gloom's mouth. That is just every Tag fan. It's just all this white shit just running out of their mouth. And I'm like, what is that coming out of your mouth? Because they're all doing the same thing, the Tag. Oh. Alright. Basic Trainer. Good to see you, buddy. I knew Basic Trainer would be in the chat. Pokin Fun says, if results are instant, how did 2 to 3 weeks-ish ago MetaZoo showed a booster box? People bash that booster box. Now it's magically changed. I think it can make changes faster than one would think. I mean, I'm not deep down the MetaZoo rabbit hole. I just tell you what I'm doing. It's like, what are you doing? I'm giving MetaZoo a chance. I was on PokeFlip. Shout out to PokeFlips. I shared it on my community post. If you guys didn't watch that, go on my community post. Pause this video. Nope, don't pause this video. Watch it to the end. Listen to me talk about like a madman, ranting into the ether. And then after this video is done, go on my community post. And I was on the PokeFlips podcast, and the MetaZoo came up, and this question people asked is like, how are you navigating MetaZoo? I don't like MetaZoo. Never did. Well, I never liked MetaZoo in the past because it felt like a huge pump and dump. I'm going to give MetaZoo a big chance right now with the new people coming on. Shout out to Dan. Dan owns some of MetaZoo. So, ifdo, de facto, up, down, left, up, down, left, right, select, start. Am I working inadvertently with somebody that owns MetaZoo, or at least a piece of MetaZoo? Yes, Dan's now talked about that in a video. Does that affect the way I navigate it? Not so much Dan, but Charlie Herlacher does. And I'm looking at the rest of the MetaZoo team, and I've already talked about this. It's like, I'm going to give MetaZoo a chance. And it's like, well, what are you doing, PK? It's like, I'm getting my hands on the most MetaZoo booster boxes that I can at release. It's like, well, not the most. I'm sure there's probably a way I could get. I'm getting as much as I would to speculate, and I'm going to get a bunch of booster boxes, and I'm just not going to sell them. I'm just going to sit on them, and I'm going to give them a chance for just speculative. Maybe that's people might hate to hear that and be like, oh God, PK doesn't even like MetaZoo, and he's just going to buy it to sit on it. And yes, that's exactly what I'm going to do. And I'm going to try to get in at my lowest possible price point. And it's like, well, where would you like to be? I need to be sitting on at least a case. Now, where do I really want to be? I want to be sitting on 3 cases. Like, is that a lot? Probably not. Is that a little? Probably not. It's just like, I'm just going to give it a shot. Because a case of MetaZoo is 12 booster boxes, not 6. So it would technically be like sitting on 6 cases of Pokemon booster boxes if I got 3 cases, because they're 12 per, but whatever. But it's like, that's just what I would want to sit on some, and I want to sit on it, and I want to see if the people I believe in the hobby actually do good of it. And that's where I sit on MetaZoo. Now, if it crashes and burns, I will be okay. I'll make it out. It might be rough, but I'll be okay. If my MetaZoo goes, my MetaZoo holdings, which currently sit at a couple dead booster boxes, like a UFO and shit, like a UFO I bought at $12 a booster box, if that shit goes to zero, I'll be okay. Don't worry, guys. Have you seen my booster boxes? Do you know what sits over there? Do you not remember one time I went on a YouTube live and I told you how excited I was that I got a Where's Waldo booster box? Yes, Where's Waldo? A booster box of Where's Waldo. I have a National Lampoon's. Listen, Linda. I had a booster box of National Lampoon's trading cards games. I'm pretty sure I will be okay if my $12 UFO and shit goes to crashing. But that's not really what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about the new stuff, too. But I think I'll be okay. All right. And yes, I do have my Christmas pants on because, yes, that is a tradition of the channel. All right. Where are we at next? So, yes. Allison Silverland says, but if we can't be afraid of losing sense when we fight, I can't. That was a long comment. Son of Mewtwo, good to see you, buddy. Son of Mewtwo, you are a real one. Tap says, Charizard UPCs were never slept on. They were always just $1,500 like Prismatic. Vintage Game says, the crazy 2020 boom took 2 years to calm down and product availability to finally come back. I'm kind of expecting the same with the current situation. I mean, 2020 took a year to calm down. I don't know, 2 years. So, for perspective for you, Vintage Game, so he said the craze of 2020 took 2 years. So, Vivid Voltage came out in November 2020. Vivid Voltage, you could easily source at pre-order for $100. And then Vivid Voltage ran up in November 2020. That was like the first set that really people were like, wow, this is crazy. Because going into Vivid Voltage, Sword and Shield base, Rebel Clash, Darkness Blaze, I guess Champion's Path in August was doing a little something, but it was still readily available. It took, and then Logan Paul's box, that's why everyone always talks about like the Logan Paul box break 2020. All the things that are on the thumbnail, all those are from November of 2021. So that is only 1 year. So from Vivid Voltage having boxes at pre-order easily at 100 for Vivid Voltage, fast forward a year later, that's every single video or every single thumbnail that was on today's video. All those are from November 28th, 2021. That was the timestamp for those prices. So it definitely wasn't the crazy 2020 boom took 2 years to calm down, and product availability, it was 1 year. It might feel like 2, but no. November 2020 to the screenshot of this is November 2021. So I wouldn't say 2 years, it's 1 year. So it could happen fast. No! I was doing so good, and then I jumped to the bottom of the chat. Wait, I think I can get back. The dreaded jump to the bottom of the chat. Son of a Mewtwo. Oh my goodness, I missed Son of a Mewtwo. Member for 12 months, Son of a Mewtwo. You got to be one of the very first members that we've had on this channel. But Son of Mewtwo gifting 20 PK memberships, bro. If you guys don't know, Son of a Mewtwo is truly a good one. Sorry, if I missed any of your comments or questions. If you have any questions, please write them again in the chat. Stupid chat jumped to the bottom on me. Thrift Hardy says, I know this market is booming because I just saw Steve Aoki introduce Bobby Lee, the Pokemon TCG, on one of the most popular comedy podcasts out there, Tiger Belly. Well, the fact that Bobby Lee is in Pokemon, very nice. Jimmy Blake says, shill away. I can't shill. I always get that one comment. PK, do not talk. Yes. Pokemon Finance Guy says, so do we think the market, coupled with the layoffs now happening, a lot will cause Pokemon to go down? Personally, I think it will, but not now, maybe in 6 months because it's lagging. So what layoffs? I don't know. Oh man, that shows how removed I am. What layoffs are going on? Like the federal layoffs? Didn't they get like 8 months worth of salary or something? Like a crazy amount of money. Is that what you're talking about? Like the federal? I think I saw that. I'm not a federal employee, but I thought it was like you get 8 months of pay to find, and 8 months is a long time to find a new job. And I heard it wasn't a layoff. I thought it was like an elective thing. If we are talking the federal, I don't know enough. Let me know in the chat. The way I understood it was it's an email that's like, if you would like to quit, you're not getting fired, but if you want to like no longer work here, you will pay you for 8 months. Just reply to this email. See, this is this problem with the news. I don't even know if that's true or not, but I'm pretty sure that's how I read it. So it wasn't like a layoff. It was just voluntarily people left. Again, not a federal employee. I don't know all the information. Tendo said, PK, do you think that requiring a Pokemon Center account with a valid ID would be the best? Ooh, so you have to apply, like show ID? I'd show ID, I don't care. Would be the best way to combat scalpers on the kiosks, or do you think there's actually a better way? I think that would be good. No, you said kiosks. So, you have like a verified Pokemon Center ID. So you would have to log in with that ID onto the machine to buy your product. Like, I'm fine with it. Fuck, I don't know. I have to use an ID if I want to buy crypto. You know, I don't care. And I gotta have an ID. Yeah, I don't care. I guess it just matters of, do you want Pokemon to have in your information? But it's like, God, the amount of, I don't know, Coinbases and all these Binances and all these other accounts, or DraftKings. I think I have a DraftKings account that I don't use, but I'm pretty sure I have to scan my license to get a DraftKings account. I don't know. Like, everyone's just like, screw it. I guess if people want your license, they can get it. I can see where a lot of people don't want that. I don't know. I could see where people would be like, no, I don't want Pokemon Center having a copy of my ID. But if that's what it takes, you know, so you would have like a verified account, that would be I mean, I could see the logic. I would be okay with it. I mean, maybe there are just some people that would hard push their foot in the ground and say, hell no to that, PK. And then in that case, it's like, yeah, that person could just spend whatever, the extra 25% and buy on the secondary market. It's like, so, it's like, yeah, I like it. Kendo, that's an interesting thought. Spanky Duty Gaming said, what up, PK? Saving my $25 Fanatics credit for your next stream. Will you be live this evening? So I stream Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then I stream Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. So I don't stream Thursday nights, and I don't stream at all on Sunday. Fresh Tats says, PK always taking gloriously beautiful turns. Fresh Tats, I appreciate you there, big dog. Kilo and says, good to see you too. Number one mod in the game, Drew. Gobru said, PK comparing his channel. Yes, I am. So C. Stern says, my son and I drive an hour or so and hit up stores on the week. Yeah, going hunting. So if you're making valuable time of it, going out with your kids, I call it going hunting, then it's worth it. I mean, that's valuable time. I mean, listen, if you're going out and you're going to go around to different stores and you're going to go hunting product, that's not really what I mean by better use of your time. Like, if you're going out driving around with your kids and you're getting lunches and stuff and you're creating valuable memories, listen, I got valuable memories right there. See that 007 sitting in that N64? That's a valuable memory for me. You want to know why? Because when I bought that GoldenEye, I was sick as a dog. I stayed home from school and I had saved up Christmas money and Jeffrey Bucks. You know what Jeffrey Bucks are? So Jeffrey Bucks were like gift cards before gift cards existed. They were actually like printed pieces of paper that had Jeffrey the giraffe on it, and that was like the gift card money you would give a kid for Toys R Us. And I had a bunch of Jeffrey Bucks, and I had all my money saved up. I was sick as a dog, and I drank strawberry high C that day in the car, and my mom drove me to Toys R Us, and going into Toys R Us, I went in, I bought the game, and then on the way out, I was so sick that I puked, just projectile vomited all over the Toys R Us parking lot in this like red strawberry high C, and still to this day, I don't even, what year did GoldenEye come out? I don't even know. I'm sure that would be a simple Google search. All right. What year? I can tell you what year. What year did GoldenEye end? So 1997. So since August of 1997, I have not been able to drink red strawberry Kool-Aid or high C or anything. So literally since 1990, you ever have that happen where you eat one thing and then you get really sick? I was already sick, but because I've puked up that high C strawberry, I can still to this day not drink that since 1997. So I still created a core memory. Sometimes, maybe not the best core memory, but that's a memory that will stick with me forever. And I still to this day cannot drink strawberry high C. Let's see. So Pokemon Finance guys said they're already doing it direct to consumers. They have the vending machines being installed in a lot of states now. I mean, that's a good start, but you know, the amount of product that would have to go through a vending machine opposed to the product that goes through distribution is crazy. I mean, there's people that I know of personally who get 3,000 booster boxes at a set release from distribution. So 3,000 booster boxes, that's a lot going to one single person. So I don't think they'll ever be able to 100% cut out, but I could definitely see where they move, and I think vending machines is one step. Monster said, do you think in 2035 when people are on Mars, Martians will carry a premium? Martian cards will carry a premium. So 2035, so what are 10 years from now? We're going to have people on Mars with Pokemon cards. That is we talk about aggressive timelines. That is an aggressive timeline. 2035, people on Mars. I'm going to say no. There will not be a Mars premium for Pokemon cards. At least in the next 10 years. Maybe in 100 years from now. So people are saying the vending machines aren't really direct to consumer because they're actually managed by a separate company. Interesting. See, learning new every day. So Kalos says, what's with the CGC energies on the shelves? I mean, sometimes you just got to have the best of the best. And if you're going to have a CGC 8.5 graded energy, well, guess what? You got the best of the best. There's no worse, there's no better. It's just, that's the benchmark. Pokin Fun says, PK, I happen to notice and posted on my Instagram that infamous PSA 8.5 is back. I've seen the graded a surprise promo box. So PSA 8.5 is, they sneak up once in a while. I do have a Grail card. I have one Grail card. Hold on. Let me see. I have a Grail card. Hold on. God, it's not in here. Where would it be? Hold on. I will show you a Grail card. I'm always like, PK. Oh no, where is it? I gotta think real hard where this would be. Where would it be? Is it in here? It's in my desk. Hold on. I got a Grail card. No! I can't even find it. This is heartbreaking. First world problems right here. PK, you're watching as my heart is literally breaking in front of you. Wait a second. No! No, my heart is breaking. You're gonna just have to take my word for it. I do own a unlimited Raichu. Oh, wait a second. You guys want to see a Grail card? I'm gonna show everybody. I found it. Ready? There it is. That is a Grail. That is a Grail of Grails right there. Look at it. Love it. That is a true grail if you've ever seen one. These are this is rare. The old Raichu in a PSA 8.5. That is a true grail for you. I am so happy I was able to find that. I had to just rip through a million things, making a mess, but I found it. That's a grail of grails right there. An 8.5 Raichu. So yes, PSA does once in a while drop the 8.5 grades. They are very rare though. So Rocket Power says, I got to the point where I was talking about tag. So I got you. So Pokin Fun said, what I'm saying about the MetaZoo changing the booster box so fast is I don't think the print and turnaround times are as slow as people think. Look how fast they reprinted the Van Gogh after the debacle. Very true. Oh no, jump to the bottom again. Don't do that, PK. Don't jump to the bottom. So Chill Phil said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take Michael Jordan / Michael Scott / Poké Knowledge cards. So Pokemonster says, how many packs per box if 12 boxes? There's 24 packs per box. So Pokéfun said, Squeaks, Dan, Charlie, all 3 people I've heard nothing but good things about on board for MetaZoo. Yeah, I'm just taking a shot. I said it on the PokeFlips podcast. I said, PK, where do you see the booster boxes being? I'm like, $800 at release. Dan saying I would be bad at running MetaZoo. I think you would be bad at running. You think you would be worse running MetaZoo where you make it, instead of $800 a box, you make it $8 a box. Which literally happened with MetaZoo, which I want to say Wilderness. Shout out to Basic Trainer. Basic Trainer, maybe it was $8. We'll call it $10. I think we saw some Wilderness $10. No. It's not a bad... You wouldn't be bad at running the company if you make $800. You would be bad at running the company if you did literally what MetaZoo did. Like, just printed it to the ground, print it to oblivion, and literally, not cap, not nothing, literally make the company go bankrupt and literally have to sell off all your assets and let somebody come in and buy up said assets from you and no longer own the company you created because you literally printed too much of it. So I don't think what I said was bad, but that's all right. Goru said that National Lampoon, we got comps on the National Lampoon booster box. Comps for $30. I'm a baller. Chill Phil says, I've been subbed before the face reveal. Back to the meme days. Let's see. C. Stern says, I know nothing compared to everyone else. My thought is, with tax money drying up, the price is spiking through the roof because of Scalper the Scalper selling, the potential economy issues looming. Could help a bit. Thoughts? Well, tax money. How much money? So you shouldn't get any... All right, hot take. You should not get any money back from taxes. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but you should get $0 back from taxes. That's it. You should never... You're just giving the government a free loan. So, let's go to old Jim. Jim always gives me good free stuff. Current bids ended on Sunday. I got a Sabrina's Gengar. Ending Sunday, 5,200. Shout out to old Jim. Doing some comparisons. Shiny Gyarados, 11 grand in a PSA 10. Listen, to answer your question, the people buying these cards, I don't think that this is tax return money. 11,000. Like, premium auction results. Like, a couple prime cards. You got Undaunted, Unleashed, Triumphant. 1,500, 1,700, 2,700 on the Gengar. Like, is this... I mean, a black label Japanese Umbreon selling for $7,100. a CGC Pristine 10, Japanese 6, like, is this it? Like, 11,000 on a Shiny Zard, 5,400 on a Dark Charizard. Like, is this it? Is this just all tax return money? Like, I just don't believe it. $19,000 for a Charizard from Skyridge. So, little funny story. When we were in the Denver Collecticon, I offered Jake $9,000. I said, Jake, I'll give you $9,000 cash right now today for your Skyridge Charizard. He said, I can't do $9,000 PKs. Like, I'll do it for $11,000. And I hemmed and hawed, and I declined it over $11,000 on a Crystal Charizard from Skyridge in PSA 10. I declined it at $11,000. That was at the Denver Collecticon, whatever, like 3 years ago. Here's most recent sales at $19,000. If I bought that card, it would have went from 11 to 19 in the matter of 2 years or 3 years or whatever. Huge returns. I don't think this is tax return money. Like, I don't. This $5,000, $6,000, like, I just don't see it. I mean, illustration rares, 300. Like, it's it. It's just $25,000 for a first edition PSA 9. I don't know. I don't see it. So, if this is all tax return money, I don't believe it. And plus, all this boom, all this craziness was happening way before tax return money was coming out. And we've been in this now for a little while. So, that's my thought. I just don't... I mean, maybe on the lowest end, I don't know. Maybe like Prismatic. I don't know. I just don't... I don't put enough into it. Maybe. That's kind of just where I am right now with thoughts like that. It's just like, I don't see it, but like maybe I'm just so disconnected from, maybe people are getting back like $20,000 or shit from taxes, and then they get $20,000 and they instantly dump it into like a Crystal Zard, maybe. But I lean towards no, probably. Wreck-It Roush says, do you think Destined Rivals will go up for pre-order tomorrow? I asked Grok, the AI, and it predicted a 40% chance based on previous set pre-order dates. Interesting, Wreck-It Roush. You never know. I say, it's always worth it to give it the old college try. People are talking about the Jeffrey Bucks. Jeffrey Bucks were real. All right. So, Jimbo Slice, oh god, is this a troll question? PK, do you know anything about grading a booster pack? I have some vintage base unlimited, Japanese 99-cent base. I'm wondering if it's worth it. So, my last booster pack graded card submission, or my last booster pack submission was 138 packs I sent away for grading. And what I learned out of those 138 packs is that I know less about grading packs after sending my last submission of 138 than I did going into it. So I don't know. I can't bring anything to you when it comes to graded packs. I'll give you like a real quick like way to look at it. So what you're gonna do is you just grab a pack of cards. It's going to be tough if you only got a one-off because you're not going to really be able to do it. What you're going to try to do is get a pack or get a pile of cards, and you're going to try to get all the same artworks. So I'll show you. This is just like a pack rating. Little quick thing for people. So real quick. This is like a couple things you can do for pack rating. Alright. This is at least for modern packs now. Vintage is going to be a lot harder. Alright. So. Alright. So, if you're going to grade a modern pack, this is the first thing that you're going to want to do. You're going to want to try to get a lot of them. If you look right here. This is all the same. So this is all Prismatic Evolutions. You'll see it's all the same artwork. This is Jolteon, Vaporeon, Flareon artwork that I just grabbed. So I grabbed all the same artworks. What you're going to want to do is you're going to put them in a nice little pile like this. And then you want to look at it through the side. All right. Do you see as you're looking at through the side, a lot of them look like similar, but then some of them really stick out like a sore thumb. Like look right here where my finger is. Do you see the black? So I'm going to take this pack. Do you see that? So you see how it's, and then you can actually see it in a couple of them. They actually kind of stick out. It almost looks like a shadow in the pack. You see black. You see there's black right there. You see there's black here. There's black. You see there's not some there. So what you have to do is you have to figure out the wrapping on this. So what that is the wrapping on that pack when they wrapped around. So I'll take that pack out compared to like this pack. So when you take the two packs, one of the wrap is wrapped around a little bit further than the other one, and you can actually see it. Do you see right there that crystal is actually, you can see more of the crystal than you can on this pack, where the crystal is not as pulled out. And that's what you're going to do. You got to find the pack wrappers that are perfectly centered. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is you get a bunch of them, and you look at them through the side, and you go, okay, that pack wrapper was wrapped. And we're really, this is deep. This is stupid, right? We can all agree this is really stupid. This is stupid. So you'll look to see which pack wrapper, when the machine was wrapping. Keep in mind, packs come. This is what a pack. Well, this is a pack wrapper. They're bigger sheets like this, but shout out to Rusty. Thank you, Rusty, for this. So this is original OG base set sheet. This is just how it is. It's literally just, there's no crimps on it or anything. The crimps are all made after the fact. So this thing wraps around the pack, the foil, and then as this foil wraps around the pack, it's not a perfect fit every time. There's a little bit of like moving in the pack, obviously nothing substantial, and then it's cut, and then you have to look at each pack individually, and you're really trying to look and eyeball it to look at like, okay, this pack is well centered. It gets super stupid. Like, this is stupid stuff. But then with packs, you want to look on the front. You're going to see some packs have where like the crimps sit on. So packs that come out of a booster box sit on top, and you'll actually see the crimp indents into the front of the pack, and you really don't want that. But then I've seen PSA 10s that have the pack in crimps. I don't know. Listen, all I know is that I know less about grading packs than I did when I graded packs. I know less about them. That's it. We are dumb. This is dumb. This is a dumb hobby. I'm going to be the first one to tell you. Some of the shit we look at, 50-50 centering, 50-45, 60-40. Do you remember that whole 60-40 fiasco? It's like, it used to be 60-40. Now it's 55-45. Well, what if it's ever 50-50? What if AI gets involved? What if? We're deep. It's like, does a white corner on a card mean it can't get a PSA 10? Sometimes. And then I could show you 1,000 examples of PSA 10s that have white corners. It's like, I showed you this. That is a Raichu PSA 8.5. Okay? Here. How many 8s do I have? Do I have any 8s? Here. These are some 8s for you. 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. Out of all these 8s versus this 185, could I tell you the difference between what makes this an 8 versus what makes this an 8.5, or what makes this a 9? The difference between this 9 versus this 8 versus, I already lost my 8.5. The 8.5's gone. I don't know. Oh wait, 8.5 versus, I don't know. What's the difference? I can't tell you. I don't know. The more I'm in this hobby, the less I know. Nothing makes sense, but it doesn't. You know what? Sometimes it just doesn't have to make sense. As long as you're playing the game to the best of your ability. Now, you know, you might be playing basketball and everybody else is playing baseball, but that's fine too, you know. At least you're having fun. That's a lot of life. That's life in general. All right, as always. Officer Doofy, signing out. I do appreciate you guys. You guys are the best. I don't know why you keep tuning in every single week over and over and over again and listen to me rant into the nothingness. Blah, 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 blah. All right, love you.